Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am Sean Anderson, Most Valuable Podcast, and the upcoming segment is from our full Fast Break podcast that we recorded. And if you do want to check out that full podcast, head over to Blog Talk Radio /The Fast Break. You'll be able to find the full podcast over there.
This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, and you might be saying, okay, wait a second, I'm not used to hearing your voice over this bed. It is the Fast Break. Your ears do not deceive you, and I'm here by myself. I have a special kind of topic that I just got done recording a special Onside Kick podcast for myself and Mark Weber, and there was an NBA topic that I decided, you know what? This is something that me personally, I've wanted to talk about for the past few weeks. Haven't been on the Fast Break, wasn't on last week, won't be on this week, as I got to go see Logan with Johnny Carlick for the Rick and Johnny podcast for our review. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about parity, and more importantly, I wanted to talk to you about parity in the NBA, and I want to link it to something that recently just happened that made me want to come on and talk to you guys about this, and that is the Kevin Durant injury. And if you guys haven't heard, Kevin Durant gonna be out he's out indefinitely. They're gonna reevaluate him in about 4 weeks to see where he's at. There's a possibility he could return A, by the end of the season, or B, by the end of the regular season with a hyperextended knee, and he messed up his MCL in his knee. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is why I think that this injury, the Kevin Durant injury, could be either a really good thing or a really bad thing for the NBA. And the reason why I think that is because of the word that I just used moments ago. It all comes down to parity. And in the league right now, there is no parity in the NBA. None whatsoever. I mean, if you're a Boston fan like Riley, you want to think that, the Boston Celtics can get to the NBA Finals. Well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. They can't. If you're a Washington Wizards fan, wow, we've been good this year. We could get to the Eastern Conference Finals. You might, but you're not going to get past that because of LeBron James. Same goes for the Raptors. Same goes for the Hawks, the Pacers, my Bulls, the Pistons, everybody in the East. The Cavaliers are your Eastern Conference champions, and I am saying that on March 1st. That's just how it is. It's because of that team. It's mainly because they have the best player in the league in LeBron James. In the West, same thing. Same old story. Some would like to say, I'm a Spurs fan. We are going to make the NBA Finals. Probably not. The Rockets, some say that, they can challenge the Warriors. Well, guess what? You're not going to the NBA Finals because guess who is? The Golden State Warriors. Right now, the league has a parity problem because there's only 2 teams in the NBA that can win the NBA Finals. And those 2 teams are the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors. I almost said Washington Redskins. I got football in the mind. The Warriors and the Cavs are the only 2 teams that can win the NBA Finals. And the one thing I kind of want to bring into this is I was talking to our own Sean Anderson today, and he had a few snippets that he was like, well, you know what? The injury, it doesn't mean anything because the Warriors have locked up a playoff spot. They won 73 games without Kevin Durant. He'll be back for the playoffs. And the thing that he was going at is those are all true. The Warriors are still a great team without Kevin Durant, but the parity problem makes this either really good or really bad. Now I want to start with the really bad. And the really bad for the NBA is that this problem, this injury, doesn't change a thing. That is the really bad. The Warriors still make the finals. The Cavs still make the finals. The reason why this injury could be really bad for them is A, it's minorly bad if the Warriors and Cavs go there because it means that the parity problem that I said is true. Warriors and Cavs are the only two teams that can win the NBA Finals and can win a championship. What could make it really bad is that the Cavs beat the Warriors again. And I'm not saying that as Ricky, well, you cheered for the Warriors last year. You just don't like the Cavs. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying, what does the league benefit from if Kevin Durant gets injured? We have the same series as last year, and the Cavs cruise to a finals. How is that interesting? Last year, at least it went to 7 games. It was interesting, and it kept you enticed. I mean, the Warriors were up 3-1. A meme blew up and was born because of that series. The Warriors blew a 3-1 lead. This year, let's say Kevin Durant's out for the finals, if the injury is that bad, because let's be honest, he's being reevaluated at the end. And the one thing I should have said earlier that I will say now, this is all dependent on how long he is out. And right now, at this time, he's out indefinitely. So that's why I'm able to have this conversation with you guys. If the Cavs beat a KD-less Warriors team, really nothing. Like, to me, it just proves that, well, the parity's even worse in the NBA because the Warriors don't have Andrew Bogut. They have less bigs on the inside. Unless you think Pachulia is the answer to replace Bogut, they're a team that has lacked bench depth this year. And if they go up against the Cavs without KD, I would even pick the Cavs. I'm not that stupid. And the one thing that I just think of is if KD doesn't play, the league, what does the league benefit from let's say even it's a 4-1 Cavs win? What does the league benefit from that? Nothing. They don't benefit anything at all. That's the bad. Either the minor bad of we get Warriors Cavs again, or the really bad of we get Warriors Cavs and it's a sweep in the finals. Like, it is that bad of a final series. However, there is some good to this. There's some good that could come out of the Kevin Durant injury. And notice how all of this, I'm talking about the playoffs. Because the regular season, I still think in the regular season without Kevin Durant, the Warriors are going to be the 1 seed. Let's be honest. But the thing is, once you get to the playoffs, it's a different animal. And the one thing that was said on the fast break, I'll use this as the example, is I'm going to use the Houston Rockets as the example because Dave and Sean last week on the fast break both said that they think that the Rockets are the biggest threat to the Warriors in the Western Conference, which I disagree with. I think that the Spurs and the Clippers, maybe even the Jazz, not the Jazz, the Clippers and the Spurs, I would say the Spurs are the biggest threat to the Warriors. The thing with the Spurs is you got to get to the Western Conference Finals in order to play the Golden State Warriors. But the thing is I'm going to use the Rockets team as the example. Let's say they do play right now with how the bracket would be set up. If they got all the way, they would play the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals because the Rockets right now are the 3 seed. Let's say they beat the Warriors. First off, it's bad for the NBA in a sense of, well, the Warriors can just say, if we would have had KD, we would have won. However, I'm talking about the good. I talked about the bad. I'm talking about the good. The good for the NBA from this injury is if the injury allows a team like the Rockets to beat the Warriors before they get to the NBA Finals, then in retrospect, is that what I'm looking for? You guys know what I'm trying to say. Basically, what I'm trying to say is it creates parity. This injury could create some parity. And I'm using the Rockets as an example here. Let's say they beat the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. If the KD injury is serious enough and he's out for that, then we can get a Cavs-Rockets finals. And it comes down to the question, well, would that be an entertaining finals? Well, I think so. The Rockets have been a pretty interesting team this year. Do I think that they would beat the Cavs? Probably not. But it's one of those things where it's good. The injury can do good for the NBA if it creates parity for the league. Because overall, the biggest problem in the NBA is what I started with. Only two teams, can win the finals, and that is the Warriors and that is the Cavs. Even after this injury, I think that it's still a Warriors-Cavs finals. However, instead of saying Warriors like I did at the beginning of the season, now I'm saying Cavs. And that decision has nothing to do with, well, not nothing. It has everything to do with the Kevin Durant injury, but there's also some compounding fractures. Like the team isn't the exact same as it was last year in Golden State, and now Andrew Bogut is not on the Warriors, he's on the Cavs, and the Cavs are a completely different team. But just based off the injury alone, before the injury, I was saying Warriors. With the injury, if Kevin Durant doesn't play, I give the finals to the Cavs 9 times out of 10. That's where I'm at. And that's coming from a guy who is a warrior. I'll pull for the Warriors before I'd pull for the Cavs. But really, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. The parity problem in the NBA. There's only 2 teams that can win the finals. All the other teams are kind of playing for third place, which doesn't mean anything in the NBA. How do you fix the parity problem? I don't know. I do not have a for sure answer of how to fix it. I just know that there is a problem. That you say, oh, well, Ricky, who's going to win the finals this year? It's either the Warriors, it's either the Cavaliers. I could have told you that at the beginning of the year. And this will most likely be the third time we see a Warriors-Cavs finals. But this injury can do good for the league and I feel bad for saying that, oh, it's good for the league if the Warriors don't make it. Honestly, to me, it's good for the league if one of the Warriors and Cavs don't make it, because it's one of those things where we even saw it in the NFL this year with Mark. Mark was saying with the Patriots, well, I'm going to pull for the Chiefs because the Patriots win it every year. When we see the same thing over and over and over, if you're not a fan of that team, like me in the 90s, of course, in the late 90s when I was 6, 7, and 8 for the second three-peat, I loved it because that was my team. If you're a Cavs fan, if you're a Warriors fan, of course, you're probably going to tell me in the comment section, oh, you're full of shit, because that is what you want to see as a fan. You want to see your team win. But I'm talking today as a just general fan of the NBA. And it's a problem. It's a problem that I can say with absolute confidence, only 2 teams can win your championship. Only 2 teams can win. The rest of the season doesn't matter. And I'll go back on it. It's going to be good for the NBA. This injury could do good for the NBA if it allows the Warriors not to make the finals, even though I would like the Warriors to win the finals because I like them as a team and I pull for them, although I'm a Bulls fan. If it's Cavs Warriors, of course, I'm going to cheer for the Warriors, but without Kevin Durant, I got to pick the Cavaliers. If a team like the Rockets or the Spurs or maybe even the Thunder or Clippers can knock off the Warriors without KD, it would do good for the NBA. It would mean there'd be some parity, and we wouldn't get the same thing. When you see the same thing over and over and over, you get used to it. You get desensitized to it, and it just doesn't seem as special as it was, just over and over and over in this league. The big thing in the NBA that I think this league needs some parity, because it's one of those things where it's like, well, you know what? I'm just not going to watch the regular season because it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything until we get to the finals, and then boom, those games matter because it's exactly who we thought it was. So good if this injury can create some parity for the league, especially in the West, because it doesn't change the Cavaliers' path at all, even though I will say with the good, let's say the Warriors don't make it, Rockets, Spurs, Clippers, Thunder, I think all four, lose to the Cavaliers, but I think the Spurs would have the best bet at maybe making it a deep series and a better series. I should just say a better series to watch would be the Spurs in my mind. And then looking at the bad, this could be really bad for the league if the Warriors get to the finals without Kevin Durant, and then yet again, the Cavaliers win it all, because I don't care if it's not that, the Cavaliers can't win it, that's bad for the league. It's bad to see the Cavaliers win the finals over a Warriors team that without Kevin Durant would be like a wounded deer just walking into the slaughterhouse, or a wounded cow, I should say, walking into the slaughterhouse, because I think if this injury, if Kevin Durant is out for the rest of the year, Cavs win the finals, chalk it up to that. But there could be some good out of it, especially if this means the Warriors fall in the playoffs before getting to the NBA Finals. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about this, kind of get my raw emotions out about it. It was something I was thinking about all day, and really the parity issue, like I said, is something I've wanted to talk about for some time, and I just couldn't hold back anymore. I wanted to just kind of speak to you guys, especially in a one-on-one situation. I never get to do this with you guys, but make sure to check out the Fast Break this week. I will not be there. Like I said, going to go see Logan with Johnny so that we can review it for you guys this weekend. Dave and Sean will have you guys covered for another great podcast this week. I want to thank you guys for kind of listening to me talk about how the Kevin Durant injury could be good or bad for the NBA. I want to know your thoughts, though. That's the most important part, the discussion that we have down in the comment section. Let me know what you think down there. Also, you can hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @RickyWidmer. Most Valuable Podcast is @MostValuablePod. Also, if you like to listen to me talk today, you want to see more of it, you hit that subscribe button, you hit that like button, you're like, Ricky, what else can I do to help you guys? Check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. We also have some cool rewards, like an exclusive Patreon podcast for as little as $1 a month. I want to thank you guys for checking out this podcast yet again. I hope you enjoyed the solo cast from Ricky Widmer. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Thank you. Oh, shit. Oh, it's just one of our videos scared me a little bit. Don't forget to check out that one. And also don't forget to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.